Hello viewers. For years on end, Indian football has been described as a sleeping giant, one with boundless talent and potential, which remains untapped. Prasar Bharati, as India's public broadcaster, strongly believes that as in so many fields in recent years, Indian football can also realize its true potential. And this can be done through partnerships and collaboration with the best in the field. Four-time world champion Germany has one of the best football cultures that has achieved unparalleled success over the years. German football and footballers are admired and respected by football lovers across India. In India, football is very popular in Goa, Kerala, Bengal, Northeast and other parts of the country. Doordarshan channels have got a strong reach across India, and Prasar Bharati's recently launched Waves platform is also increasing its footprint among different sections of the Indian population. The objective of the collaboration between DFB and Prasar Bharati is to bring the best of German football to the maximum Indian homes. It will inspire Indian kids to take up the game, train themselves as professional German footballers do, and take Indian football to greater heights in the years to come. So watch the best of German football action on DD Sports and Waves.
Welcome back to yet another very special presentation right here on Doordarshan. This, even as India looks to rebuild and restart the process of identifying the proper grassroots level of footballers who could actually on someday, many years from now, shine for the country. And guess what? There's help at hand. You've watched in the previous episode, Team Germany is out here in trying to help India develop a very proper and systematic approach to grassroots football. And of course, on behalf of the German Federation, not really the Federation, but the German delegation who've been here in India as part of the fabulous initiative to help India restructure football at the very basic level. I have two very special gentlemen here in the studio tonight. First and foremost, to my immediate left, he looks a little grave. He's not that serious. Of course, he has a very serious job, but he's got one of the best jobs in the world. Kai Domholz, he's the Director of Media Rights for DFB, that's the German Football Association. Kai, how are you?
I'm fine. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
I like that. I like the tone. Kai is already on the attack mode. And of course, accompanying Kai is a person. I'll give you his designation first. We call him a football philosopher. Well, it must be reminding you of Socrates, but no, he doesn't really play football now. Neither does he have the other habits like Socrates, but he's one who's actually embedded within the German football culture and of course has been a friend trying to bridge the gap between India and Germany. Kaushik Maulik, welcome back. Seeing you after many years. How are you doing?
There's a lot of, after a decade, I'm
more than a decade.
More than a decade. And
Oliver Khan in Kolkata with Kaushik Maulik, and now here we are.
It's a pleasure to be with you always.
So what brings you, let me start with you rather than Kai, let me give him some breathing space. What brings you and this German team here?
Sanjeev, the idea is to bring the German team for delegation to create a buzz because we're always talking about India as a clapping nation. It's a good to be a clapping nation, you appreciate, but now we should think about we should be a playing nation too.
Right. And
I have a little experience with Germany and Indian and the grassroots. And grassroots, what I found out, what is a missing of the Indian development on esports and particularly especially football, is a technology. So this I have tried to bring the technology into football, to identification of talent with a proper database-driven projects. And we bring club associations and also the technocrats to begin to the project. So make it more viable with a data-driven. So you identify the kids at 8 years. Now how you can predict with their practice sessions, with the way that they're playing stuff. And also the important thing, from the 10 years onwards, we have a special psychological tool to understand the game moment and understand the capability to that. And that's the reason I try to bridge the gap, not only a club, association, also the sports technocrats to be in.
Right.
And this is the reason to be all together. My job is always to bridge the gap and connect the dots.
Right, bridge the gap and connect the dots. An interesting proposition. Kaushik Maulik is here. He finds himself as he tries to get this German Federation guys here to help Indian football. Now, Kai, let me start with you. Director, Media Rights, German Football Association. How much of opportunity do you see here in India just by the sheer staggering numbers which present itself to you?
I mean, it's a rhetorical question, right?
It is. It's meant to be one.
We come from a quite large economy, over 80 million households. Football is number one by far. It's a religion. But looking across to India, I mean, 1.4 billion.
Yeah.
It's huge. It's 3 times larger than the European Union altogether. So the potential is enormous, but no one has really cracked it and tapped into it. You're correct. But we look at it from Germany and said, what can we do? And then somebody put Kaushik on our doorstep and said, you know, maybe Kaushik can be the key to success. And so we looked into it for a long time, and we take an approach of bringing the DFB-Pokal, our German FA Cup, free to air for all Indians to watch.
That's the first of its kind. It's never happened.
It's never happened before in
world.
European club football to have like a free-to-air proposition is on an elite level, and of course, thanks to a great partnership with Doordarshan and Waves, we're doing this, and I think it will help also of course, the German football,
right?
But football altogether.
Right. So for all of you who've been actually following football very, very closely and keep your eyes trained on all sorts of international tournaments. Now, this is the basic big headline you're getting out of this conversation right at the outset, that the DFB-Pokal, which is basically the German Cup, the second most important after the Bundesliga in Germany, that is coming to all of your homes, be it television, satellite, digital, etc., through Doordarshan and, of course, Waves OTT. Free of cost, and that's for the first time this is ever happening. I know a lot of us, including myself, we are fans of European leagues and competitions, but everything comes with the price. And guess what? The DFB-Pokal has come calling free of cost. Now, that's a super initiative, but the question here is that let's talk about the numbers. Why free of cost, and how does it help in positioning? Does it actually help in positioning German football even better in Indian households who are already consuming a lot of European football?
In the end, we will find out. But it's an approach we're taking. From our analysis, it's quite a niche sport still. It's maybe in the very affluent households, in the pay TV bouquets. But in order to tap this huge potential, and I think we need to reach out to every potential football fan in India. And this needs to be through free-to-air, through free streaming, and then making football popular again, creating the interest in children to pick up a ball, to play with their friends on the field. Eventually, through technology, Kaushik mentioned it, maybe find the talent to put them into a system to then develop proper football talent, who we then can bring into the system.
Where were you guys when we were kids? My question to you is, where were these guys when we were kids? Because Kaushik, you might remember, and let me tell you this guy, when I was a kid, the only free football or free sport I would watch, or rather I could watch, was go to my neighbor's house, because we actually didn't have a television.
Yeah.
So we went to a neighbor's house, and my first World Cup, let me tell you, first World Cup I ever watched on television as a kid was the World Cup of Salvatore Schillaci.
Yeah.
Incidentally, the World Cup which Germany, Lothar Matthäus and Andres Bremer won, defeating Maradona's Argentina. That was the only free football we watched, Kaushik, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And now we have youngsters, they're watching top flight German football free of cost in their homes.
You know, just to add on to the Kai, but what's the reason of free? I a little bit of, we want to make it democratize the whole story. Because if you see a remotest area of village boy or girl can see the football match. We also add on this, and not only DFB-Pokal free, we also Women's Bundesliga also free. So we try to keep the best footballing experience in live format to every part of nook and corner of India. So, you know, first you to love the game. What everybody said, the football is a bust. Technology, curriculum is much later comes in. First you to love, and love by seeing it, by audiovisual capability, and this, and also the advantage of the German Cup, we call it Cinderella story. They look at the Arminia Bielefeld as third-tier team they're going to play the semi-final. And this third-tier team, and look at somebody in Kolhapur, somebody in remotest village of Kerala or in Bengal or Goa. I can have a third-tier team. I can beat Indian first-tier team. It makes you believe in you. This is very important. First, the basic I found out is believe. If you just give an example, Sanjeev, if you go to any school,
Right.
ask the kids at the age of 8 to 12, what do you want to be? I want to be Maradona. I want to be Messi. I want to be Ronaldo. Which club you want to play? I want to play for Barca,
Manchester United.
No,
maybe.
Manchester, whatever.
Yeah.
And then if you ask the same boy, girl, after 14 years, they start believing it's just a mere dream. And I felt, and I talked this way, this is we'll kill our kids' dream. It's a crime within us. We never give a pathway to our kids to pursue his dream. And nobody can, not anybody can be a Ronaldo or Messi, but the Ronaldo, Messi, Neymar is excellence. It's a pursuit of excellence should be continued. And we killed our kids' dream. It's a very, it's always, I give one lovely story. And just 2 months before I was in Germany, I tell you sharing two stories. One is when I'm in taxi, one Moroccan driver in Frankfurt drove me to DFB. So in the Moroccan driver, I congratulated them for the World Cup. They're going to host.
Yeah.
And the taxi driver told me, "Hey, Mr. Malik, you have a country of 1.5 billion. I cannot believe there's no talent. Look, a Moroccan taxi driver believe that in India, 1.5 billion people has a World Cupper, and we don't believe it." And then the second story I tell you about the non-resident Indian kids. One of my friend in Germany, he is a German citizen. His son is also German. He's an 8-year boy old. And he asked his father asked him, "Hey, because we are going to start for non-resident Indian kids training program in Germany." So he asked him, his father asked his son, "Will you like to play for Germany or India?" Guess what is the kid's answer? Guess?
India.
Yes. And why? 8-year boy say, "I have to play for India because India never played World Cup. So I want to play football to make India to the World Cup."
Right.
It's our duty. 1.5 billion people should encourage this millions of dreams and give a pathway.
Wow, well said. Very, very well put there. And I must tell you that time for a break here, but the way Kaushik is speaking, he obviously speaks very well. You being the director of media rights, you might as well have a job for him there. You might as well. He's speaking so well, and of course, that's the best part. He's speaking from the heart. But this K&K, what's K&K? Kai and Kaushik are here with me. It's time for a small little break. When we come back, lots more about this bridge between India and German football culture. Stay right here. Welcome back. We are still in conversation with K&K. Kai Domholz, the Director of Media Rights of the German Football Association, and of course Kaushik Malik, a football philosopher who's trying very hard for quite some time to bridge the gap between India and Germany and make sure the best of Germany comes to Indian shores as India looks to reinvent its own footballing culture and structure. Kai, now let me ask you about the fact we spoke about the game, the basics, and what you guys are intending to do. But when it comes to television, I mean sports and television, they are like made for each other. And more so with football, there's absolutely no break. You play flat out 45 minutes, 2 halves. When you have a product like this and when you have a new territory like India, let me ask you, I mean, there are other European leagues which already have made more than just a dent in the broadcasting space in India. So how does maybe the German Football Association, the Bundesliga, yourself, how do you look at the market, number one? And how do you plan to get inside it also?
Yeah, that's very good points. I mean, in Kaushik with this enthusiasm has really taken a grip of me. So of course we start from our home ground where we produce the games in the best quality possible, and then we analyze the market. And as Kaushik said rightfully, the DFB-Pokal, it's a single leg knockout competition, aspirational tournament, fits perfectly to the Indian landscape and the Indian mentality. David can beat Goliath. It's win or lose, and it's a wonderful competition. And like you said, you had your football love awakening in the 1990 World Cup final.
Yep.
Maybe we can create such moments, which a fantastic knockout match or knockout final with the DFB-Pokal. So we think it's the perfect product for the market, and we, like we said before, we want to give it. We're giving it for free to everyone to watch, but we're not altruistic. We have the goal of growing our cup, of growing our competition.
Right.
At a very, very high speed, because you said some have been entering before, some has left a dent, specifically the Premier League. There's cricket, which is the 800-pound gorilla in the room. So we have to take a different approach, and I think our approach is fresh, is different, and hopefully effective.
Absolutely, and I'm speaking from experience because I work in cricket, I work in football. I worked in the Premier League here in India as well as the La Liga. I've done a few El Clasicos, but the one thing I understand from where we sit, where we watch sport, is that sport is all about participating and all. That's true, but there's nothing better than winning. I mean, look at India's story. You call it cricket, the giant which it is in the Indian sporting ecosystem. India won a World Cup 1983. The entire country is ignited. Suddenly there's a boom. There's a demand for televisions, color televisions. 28 years it takes for India to win another World Cup. And it seems to be going from there to there. So you believe, in a sense, the love which Indians have had for ages, decades, for Brazil and Germany. They've been enamored, mesmerized, the old timers, by the likes of Pelé and Maradona. Germany and Italy did make a little bit of dent, but maybe more sporting success on the international field, like a FIFA World Cup, because the country was shell-shocked. I can say from experience, when you guys hammered Brazil 7-1 in a World Cup semi-final. I mean, we've never seen something like that.
Correct.
You must be planning for an encore, are you? Are you? Come on, I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
We've had our struggles in the national team, but I think after the World Cup in Qatar, which was certainly a low point, we've come back. The Euro 2024 in our own country was a fantastic event, a fantastic tournament. The whole population of Germany, and hopefully beyond, hopefully also some Indians, are getting behind the German national team again. We have a wonderful manager, great players. So I think it's coming back. So yes, in 2026 we hope to have a few more spectacular upsets.
And to build this ecosystem where you're trying to not just get the footballing culture of football into another country, but also to make their superstars household names here in India. I mean, you look at the likes of Kai Havertz or Jamal Musiala and all the younger ones, not all of them. So it is important for them to also achieve the sort of success which actually catapults them into a household name here in India. Don't you think so?
That's as you said. Also now, the next generation craze that I found out about the kids, because kids is the purest form. Their study in football are much bigger. When I found out the kids age group of 8 to 12, it's phenomenal, the knowledge. I think the new generation is more talking about Musiala or Florian. So it shows that they have a compassionate about the young. They connect, that's the reason we try to make, when we discuss a big debate, me and Kai, always, that what is the best way to do it. The first thing, you have to fall in love. If you don't fall in love, how you can grow next step? So if you fall in love, you have to see the beautiful things. And the beautiful things, for example, we look at the Belfeld, even the last year final, the Kaiserslautern versus Bayer Leverkusen. Unbelievable. The fans, and this is ideal. If the Arminia Bielefeld build all the Bundesliga team during the semi-finals, then why we can beat our number one team? We can beat anybody. It's believe, and that's the reason our success comes in, and that's the reason kids are working. And not only that, I believe it together. It's a digital mode. We are also going to launch under 7 DFB-Pokal for each state, like a knockout tournament. They should they should feel that yes, it's a tournament. When I talk about the aspiration doesn't belong to a particular country or geographical barrier. Correct. Aspiration is the basis of your development, and this Aspiration, we're trying to imbibe through watching first. You will fall in love. Then the first step is fall in love. Not only kids, the family too.
Where was he all this time? He's a romantic at heart. He's a football romantic at heart. Kai, what do you got to tell him?
Well, it's better late than never.
It's better late than never. And you know, just taking off from where you guys spoke, and in an earlier interaction with Holger Blask, he mentioned something very, very important. It's very important to have those idols, to look up to them. You know, if you look at not just India, but you know, youngsters across the world, across the planet, in not so developed football countries, if you ask a youngster, what do you want to be, who you want to be in football, the common refrain, even to a couple of years ago, would have been Messi, Ronaldo, or a Neymar. How does it shift to the likes of, I want to be the next Musiala, I want to be the next, etc., etc.? How important is that also? That's a cultural change in the way they consume football too, right?
Yes, correct. I think that's a super important element to also fall in love, not only with the game, the competition,
Culture, country.
the league, the cup, but also the player. And of course the culture and the country. So I think as Germans, we would like to be more liked. And I said in an event a few months ago, so we have wonderful cars, we have wonderful beer, and we have wonderful football. These are at least the three things Germany should be loved for.
I can tell you one thing from my limited knowledge compared to yours of German football is that the Germans have, or rather love, a continuity as part of their footballing structure and ethos. On this, I'm going to talk to K&K, that's Kai and Kaushik, in just a bit. Small little break. When we come back, it'll be time for the last few minutes of this show where we're going to take some shots at each other, literally in a tiebreaker style. Keep watching. The Brazilians joga bonito, or the Germans different but literally the same approach when they call it the Cinderella story. The love of the game, the love of the sport, which is the beautiful game. That's what binds the Indo-German collaboration which we are seeing, which will actually result in something good as far as Indian football is concerned. K&K, that's Kaushik and Kai are still here. Kai, we spoke about football, media rights, etc., etc. But the important thing is that continuity. You look at football, as far as German football is concerned, it takes a long time to change something which has always been there. I was reading an article, I think if I'm not mistaken, maybe a year ago, some time back, that the German Football Association had a 70-year-old deal, I think, with one of the big sportswear brands of the world, starting from the 1954 World Cup. And you've recently changed after 70 years. What's the secret to such continuity and longevity? Surely cannot be just the money that the brand pays to German football. It must be something else.
Yeah, I believe continuity is a big word in the German culture, and therefore also in the German football. And we've had very, very long-standing partnerships with brands. But times are changing, and also we have to be more dynamic. So we moved to a new headquarter called the DFB campus about 3 years ago, sorry. Wonderful facility, all modern, everything under one roof. The professional football team, the sporting division, the commercial division, everyone together. We're putting up new technologies. We're looking into the sport from a different level. We're partnering with companies who are strong in artificial intelligence. We're turning every stone. We don't rely only on the football talent and on the heritage and on the continuity. We're keeping that, but we're injecting.
You change with the times.
We're injecting innovation and technology and listen to the change of the time.
Absolutely, keeping in pace with the times, and that's the reason I actually asked you about it. About a 70-year-long association, which was actually, in sports in India, we say, why fix something which ain't broken? Neither was this, but the fact that you realized you needed to change with times, that tells us perhaps the one thing about the German footballing culture, Kaushik, doesn't it?
That's also, changing time is very important, but based on change to the heritage, which will give you a lot of listen to it. Change is inevitable, and the change is a life too. But belief is also a very important thing, which is the very dynamic part. What I found in German culture, not in football, they're very all are data driven, and also somebody said German has a very stiff on the stuff. And I said no, Germans are very big heart when it comes football and everything, but heart is a little bit. You have to.
I wouldn't mind 4 World Cup titles, 4 World Cups, even if they call me straight and stuff. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
No, that's good stuff. But I just given I given one example of emotions. I'll just reiterate the Oliver Kahn's farewell match. That still is a fairy tale of the world of football, and I'm a little part of it.
Yeah, yeah.
So I still enjoy. And that's one story I believe in how the emotion German comes in the picture. In 2008, the Oliver Kahn's farewell match is over. It's 120,000 crowd in the Salt Lake Stadium. 45,000 waited outside. And it just, I was a team boss with Oliver, this Bayern Munich team bus. And where you just come out from the stadium, and all the crowds are there, 45,000 from Salt Lake Stadium to the ITC hotel. It took 5 or 10 minutes by the car.
Yeah.
1.5 hours.
Yeah.
And look at the Oliver Kahn, Uli Hoeneß, everybody with the stripe, the World Cup, winner up. And they never said single words. And when in the bus, the front seat, Uli Hoeneß told to me, Kaushik, let's do it something for India. All of a sudden. I'm saying, Uli, I am also some mad guy, but I have one belief. Exactly within 10 years, I have some thought in my mind, some Indian will play in Bayern Munich. I said, you're mad? I don't know, it's just a belief. And how the power of my belief, or the belief powers, exactly 2018, 8 years down the line, the player called Samarprit Singh, he's non-resident Indian from New Zealand, he signed for Bayern first team. So what I mean to say, believe yourself with your intensity. It works.
Right. So the perspective about Indian football, which the German footballs people are looking at, it will obviously take a fair bit of time. Nothing's going to come off immediately. Of course, people look for results. But at the outset, even as we wind up, when you look at the new consumer or the would-be consumer, for not only for German football, but also for initiatives like the DFB-Pokal and also all the strategic initiatives which you and your team have planned for Indian football at the very junior level, what is the message you're giving out first to the Indian consumer who watches you and your brand of football on television, and also to the kid who's approaching you trying to learn the best of football?
Well, I think one is it's approachable, it's available. So we make it available through all means, through all screens, on all services, on all transmission methods. With the help of our Indian partners, Doordarshan, for example, and Waves, we get to localize it. We tap directly into the heart of the fan, the commentators, we reach out directly. At the same time, we make it repeatable. So we show you a Cinderella story, apply yourself hard, have fun, and you also have a chance to beat the big guy. So I think we come from both sides, the media product and also the messaging.
Absolutely, and obviously it works both ways. The fact that the state broadcaster Doordarshan has got the widest and the biggest, largest, most extensive television network in India and the subcontinent, also to add to it the OTT service Waves, will be taking your product to more than 150 countries, way beyond India. So there is obviously something to gain on your side too. Kaushik, when you look at this very strategic alliance, I'm sure you're very hopeful of India finding its feet in the grassroots level. What would you like to see coming out of it?
You know, the two things I find out is I'm working on it not only for Indian grassroots, to also I'm working on in German Indians who lived in Germany. And we have also cooperation with the DFB and Ingolstadt to start a training program for Indian kids in Germany to grow with them, to get the Indian feeling the Indian can play football too. We are also not an only clapping nation, we also be a good playing nation too.
No, absolutely. That literally warms the heart of every sport-loving person here in India who's looking forward for a new revival, in a sense, as far as this beautiful game is concerned. We've for long supported the international teams and the clubs, and it's time now for ourselves to actually find our feet, maybe start with these small little baby steps. On that note, K&K might I say, Kaushik Malik and Qaid Amolz. Thank you very, very much for spending a little bit of time sharing with us your perspective. And all I can say right now is all the best. Here's hoping you do find success. And it's only one reason that an Indian will wish a German a lot of success. That's when the German is trying to help the Indian find its way in football. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you.